Imagine for a moment that you have achieved everything you ever dreamed of: financial freedom, a millionaire portfolio, businesses spread around the world, but also a huge concern. Because the more you grow, the more you become a target. A target for hackers, fraudsters, governments, competitors, and even ordinary people who envy your rise. And here is the question that few investors ever stop to reflect on. How do the ultra-wealthy, those billionaires we see on magazine covers, manage not only to protect their fortune, but also to transform digital security into a strategic investment advantage? Today, you are going to dive into a territory rarely explored outside elite financial circles, the world of cybersecurity protocols of the ultra-wealthy, and be prepared. We are not talking about simple antivirus software or strong passwords. We are talking about invisible structures that shield wealth, power, and exclusive opportunities. Before we go deeper, I want you to picture this scenario. A billionaire in New York wakes up in the morning, picks up his phone, and accesses a system that looks ordinary, but, behind the scenes, is encrypted with military-grade technology. Every message, every email, every call passes through filters that you and I will likely never have access to. And it is not just about privacy. It is about controlling information, the most valuable currency of the 21st century. And here is the key point. They do not do this only to protect themselves, but to benefit, because information is power. And in the world of investments, whoever controls information first controls the game. Let us be clear. The ultra-wealthy have fear. Yes, fear. Fear of losing what they have built, fear of public exposure, fear of cyber attacks that could not only steal money, but also leak sensitive information that is worth far more than figures in a bank account. But unlike most people, they turn this fear into strategy. While the average investor focuses only on financial returns, billionaires understand that cybersecurity is central to preserving and multiplying capital. Do you want a real example? There are ultra-wealthy families in Europe who maintain their fortunes in decentralized digital structures, protected by advanced cryptographic systems and spread across different jurisdictions. This is not just about hiding wealth. It is about protecting themselves from political crises, hacker attacks, and even global economic instabilities. Now think about this. If they worry so much about digital protection, should you not start thinking about it as well? Another crucial point is that the ultra-wealthy do not use security protocols only to defend themselves. They use them to access opportunities that never reach the general public. While an average investor receives market information with delays, these individuals have access to private secure networks where data circulates about new funds, strategic political moves, and even technological innovations before they become public. Do you think it is a coincidence that some billionaires always seem to be in the right place at the right time, investing in companies that few people have even heard of? It is not luck. It is privileged access, and that access is only possible because they have built a digitally shielded ecosystem, impossible to be tracked by curious eyes. This is where cybersecurity protocols become a competitive advantage. They do not only shield information, but they allow navigating in an ocean of data invisible to the rest of the world. And let me open a quick parenthesis here with you. If this topic is already sparking the same curiosity in you that it sparks in me, and you want to keep learning strategies that only the ultra-wealthy apply, then subscribe right now to Investor School. That way, you will not miss the next episodes, where I will open even more hidden doors into the world of investing. But there is something even deeper. The cybersecurity of the ultra-wealthy is not only about technology, it is also about psychology. They know that the mere feeling of vulnerability can affect their financial decisions. A billionaire who fears corporate espionage might hesitate to make a major move in the market, and hesitating at this level of the game can cost billions. That is why they build systems so solid that they leave no room for doubt, and this gives them a huge mental advantage. While average investors lose sleep over fear of a crisis or a digital breach, the ultra-wealthy operate with calmness and clarity, focusing only on multiplying their capital. This is where you realize that true wealth is not only in the money accumulated, but in the peace of mind that allows you to make decisions without noise, without fear, without distraction. Now maybe you are thinking, okay, but that is for billionaires. I do not have that level of wealth to protect, and that is exactly where many people get it wrong, because these protocols, adapted to your reality, can be applied at any level of investing. We are not only talking about million-dollar systems, we are talking about habits, about digital and mental protection structures that can put you at a different level from most common investors. While the crowd still believes that following market news is enough, the ultra-wealthy have already understood that the real advantage lies in creating a shielded environment where you have access to the right information and act with absolute confidence. And this is only the beginning. In the next part of this video, we will go even deeper and reveal which types of digital protocols the ultra-wealthy use most, how these systems not only protect but also generate new investment opportunities invisible to the majority, and most surprising of all, how you can begin adapting these concepts to your own journey, even if you are just starting out in the world of investing. If you have realized by now how transformative this knowledge can be, then get ready, because what comes next may completely change the way you see security, wealth, and financial strategy. Welcome back. In the last section, we opened the door and saw the shadowy architecture the ultra-wealthy use to protect and profit from information. Now we walk through that architecture room by room. We will unpack the specific protocols, the psychology that sustains them, and, most importantly, the exact realistic steps you can start applying today to raise your own security and your investment edge. This is the conclusive part. Practical, strategic, and built for you, whether you manage a modest portfolio or a family office. First, understand the meta rule they live by. Layer, compartmentalize, and limit blast radius. Wealthy individuals do not rely on one fortress wall. They build many small, interlocking walls so that when one layer fails, the damage is contained. Apply this mindset to accounts, devices, communications, and legal structures. Treat every login, every device, and every connection as a zone. Put different classes of assets in different zones. Money for daily use sits in one zone with daily access controls. Long-term holdings, sensitive agreements, and escrowed funds live in deeper zones with multi-party checks. A cornerstone of modern elite practice is the zero-trust mentality. Never assume any device or network is safe by default. Every access request is verified, every device is authenticated, and identity is continuously asserted. For the average investor, that translates into habits you can adopt today. Minimize reuse of credentials, require strong multi-factor authentication that includes hardware-backed keys where possible, and reduce the number of places where your most sensitive credentials are stored. Think of authentication as a gate that closes behind you and opens only with more than one key. Another high-value protocol used by the wealthy is compartmentalization through multi-signature control and separated custody. Instead of a single private key controlling vast sums or a single advisor having unilateral authority, they distribute control among trusted parties. For digital assets, this might mean multi-signature wallets requiring multiple approvals. For traditional assets, it means splitting authority across legal entities and advisors located in different jurisdictions. The effect is both defensive, reducing single points of failure, and strategic, enabling sophisticated coordinated actions without centralized risk. Physical and cybersecurity are integrated. The ultra-wealthy treat their devices like physical safes. Secure hardware modules, hardware security keys, and dedicated secure devices are used to store critical secrets. They avoid keeping high-value credentials on devices that also serve as their daily driver. If you can, mirror that approach. Keep a dedicated, minimally used device for high-risk accounts, maintain encrypted offline backups, and separate your everyday browsing from your sensitive operations. A less visible but equally powerful protocol is trusted communications. Hygiene. High-net-worth actors cultivate multiple purpose-specific communication channels, each with clear rules and lifespans. Ephemeral messaging, strict verification rituals for fund transfers and out-of-band confirmations. A phone call to a previously verified number, for example, becomes standard. The discipline here is ritualized. Before any transfer above a threshold, there is a checklist and an independent verification step. You can implement a simplified version. Set thresholds for when you require a phone confirmation. Never execute transfer requests sent only by text or email, and teach your team or household the verification ritual, so social engineering becomes much harder. The elite leverage private networks and invitation-only data rooms to access early deal flow. That access is not magic. It is cultivated through relationships, trusted intermediaries, and infrastructure that protects confidentiality. Encrypted virtual data rooms. NDAs that are bound to secure identities and robust logging so any leaks are traceable. From a practical standpoint, aspiring investors should focus on building trustworthy relationships and insist on secure channels when handling sensitive deal information. Learn to recognize authentic invitations from your network and make security a non-negotiable condition for entering private syndicates or pitch rooms. Governance and legal design are part of the security blueprint. The ultra-wealthy combine corporate structures, trusts, and jurisdictional diversity to create resilience. Those structures are paired with strict operational rules: who signs what, who may access which vaults, and how disputes are arbitrated. For you, this means formalizing decision rules even if your portfolio is small. Document who has authority, set approval thresholds, and periodically review those rules. Clarity prevents errors and reduces the chance that hurried, emotion-driven choices lead to costly mistakes. Psychology threads through every technical measure. The wealthiest players design processes that remove adrenaline-driven decision-making. They automate checks and guardrails, schedule calm decision windows, and run rehearsed responses to common threats. Emulate this. Create pre-commitment devices for major moves, set cooling-off periods, insist on documented rationale, and use checklists to force sober thinking. Discipline is a security control. Testing and continuous improvement are non-negotiable. Red teams, penetration tests, and honest audits are routine for big fortunes. They hire teams to probe their systems exactly as an adversary would. For individuals, the equivalent is scheduled audits. Have an objective cybersecurity review, use trusted third-party scans, maintain a log of access and changes, and insist on transparency from service providers. If something doesn't have a test, it isn't really secure. Now let's get tactical. Practical steps you can implement right away, grouped into beginner, intermediate, and advanced moves so you can choose what fits your current capacity. Beginner moves you should do this week. 1. Inventory your digital assets. List accounts, recovery emails, custodians, and where private keys or seed phrases reside. If you don't to know where your sensitive access points are, you cannot protect them. Use a reputable password manager and eliminate password reuse. Treat passwords as single-use tools, not permanent credentials. G. Enable strong multi-factor authentication on every account that supports it, prioritizing accounts tied to money, title, or legal documents. Prefer methods that are phishing-resistant, hardware or device-bound authenticators. 4. Create an offline encrypted backup of critical recovery material and store it in a separate physical location. Document a simple transfer verification ritual for any transaction above a chosen threshold. Require an independent, out-of-band confirmation. Intermediate moves to adopt in the coming months. 1. Segregate accounts by purpose: daily, investments, legal, and legacy. Put deeper layers of protection around long-term holdings. 2. Implement multi-signature arrangements for high-value assets or accounts where possible share signing responsibility among at least 2 trusted parties. 3. Use encrypted communications and adopt a succinct protocol for verifying identities before discussing sensitive deals. Build a minimal incident response plan: who you call, what you lock down, and how you communicate externally. Practice it. Start thinking about legal structures that align with your goals. Entity design and clear delegated authorities reduce drag during crises. Advanced measures reserved for those scaling toward institutional-level security. 1. Consider specialized custody solutions that offer threshold cryptography or hardware security module-based key management. 2. Use hardened, purpose-built devices for sensitive operations and isolate them from everyday browsing. 3. Contract periodic red team engagements and professional penetration testing to surface hidden vulnerabilities. Formalize relationships with trusted advisors and legal counsel across jurisdictions, and bake those relationships into operational playbooks. 5. Acquire a tailored cyber insurance policy that complements your controls, not as a substitute for them. A brief but crucial note on recovery and legacy. Security planning is incomplete without a safe, reliable method for inheritance and continuity. The ultra-wealthy map out cryptographic inheritance mechanisms, legal trusts, and multi-party custodial arrangements, so that in the event of incapacity or death, Assets transfer cleanly according to intent. Start by documenting your wishes in a way that is both legally sound and operationally secure. Don't leave keys solely in the head of one person. Use legal instruments plus technical recovery pathways that require authorized steps rather than secret knowledge. Let S talk about the ethical edge. Elite security often creates exclusive channels, but exclusivity without ethics can become opaque and risky. Use security to protect legitimate advantage, not to hide wrongdoing. Build transparency into your personal governance where appropriate, audited entities, clear compliance with laws, and honest disclosure to stakeholders. Security that avoids scrutiny is fragile. Security that welcomes appropriate checks is robust. At this point, you may be asking, how do you turn security into a strategic advantage, not just a defensive cost? The answer is twofold. First, security raises your credibility. When others know you protect information and transact deliberately, invitations and partnerships become more likely. Second, a secure information posture grants you early access. Founders, bankers, and co-investors prefer to share sensitive opportunities with parties who can demonstrate operational discretion. Invest in trust infrastructure, protocols, advisors, and technology, and more deals will come to you rather than you chasing them. Now, a practical framework to decide where to allocate your effort and resources. Ask 4 questions for any asset or process. 1. What is the potential loss if this asset is compromised? 2. How likely is a compromise given current controls? 3. What is the cost to elevate protection relative to the value at risk? 4. What benefits, access, speed, or optionality does better protection unlock? Use those answers to prioritize. Not everything needs an enterprise stack. Focus first where value and risk align. Before we close, a short tactical checklist you can print and use. Create an asset inventory today. Secure top 5 accounts with phishing-resistant MFA. Create an encrypted offline backup this week. Define and document a transfer verification ritual. Schedule a security audit within 3 months. Implement multi-signature control for any account holding substantial capital. Establish a simple, legally sound inheritance pathway for your keys and accounts. If this episode is lighting up new possibilities for you, and you want more deep dives like this into the hidden mechanisms that shape investment advantage, make sure you are resubscribed so you don't miss the follow-ups where we dissect real-world case studies, walk through mock incident responses, and build templates you can use directly in your portfolio. Finally, remember why we protect in the first place. Not to hide, but to enable security buys you calm, clarity, and the space to take better risks. It converts fear into a competitive resource. The ultra-wealthy understand that the best investments arise when you can move decisively, privately, and with confidence. The same principle applies to you. This concludes the conclusive part. Take the frameworks, start with the practical checklist, and escalate as your portfolio and risk profile demand. Security is a journey. Start with a single deliberate step today, and over time those steps compound into a durable advantage that protects what you build and amplifies what you can boldly pursue.